So, I have watched the season finale of House of the Dragon. And boy, oh boy. Welcome back to Watch with Cherie. So, here we go. Episode 8, Season 3, House of the Dragon. Where to begin? Where to begin? A season finale wouldn't be right with this show without someone dying. We had several people die, and we had several people that we don't know if they're dead, but according to the book, shouldn't be dead. We had some people die, in my opinion, prematurely, but nevertheless, there were deaths that happened. So this is what the season was, brewing to end with, which was this battle at Tumbleton, right? But we start with Rhaenyra getting news that Aegon is not, in fact, dead, nor is his dragon Sunfire. And we haven't seen her cry in a bit, but boy, do we see her cry. And she is upset. She goes to find Daemon to tell him that Aegon is alive. And what am I going to do? And he tries to get her off the ledge and tell her, listen, we got the dragons. We can do what we need to do. Tell me what you want me to do. So she says, go to Tumbleton, rain fire, but do it gently because I don't want people to think that I'm a mad woman and I'm just burning everybody. She didn't tell him that. He couldn't wait to get on his horse, to get out there, to then get on his dragon. He couldn't wait to slice and dice something, right? So we have Ormond, who has been very calculated in orchestrating his defense, right? He has Corlys as a prisoner who is Rhaenyra's right hand. He has Ulf, the White, who has turned. Why has he turned? Because Daemon and Rhaenyra have disrespected him. They don't view him as a true Targaryen. He's a bastard, right? Daemon smacked fire out of his face in the middle of the streets. So that's disrespectful, right? But his ego was bruised. So him turning coat was nothing. And he was promised something by Ormond. Okay, great. So he has that dragon. And he also has Tessarion. However, I don't think he's expecting him to get out there, right? So we see Ormond knight Darren, right? Because a king can't be a king without being a knight. So he knights him. Gwaine is watching. And shout out to Gwaine because he's really trying. He's really trying not to. He knows that this is a battle that they cannot win. And that his cousin is really cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So Gwaine presents Daemon with an alternative. Rhaenyra can rule. She is the heir. Let her rule. Be the queen of the seven kingdoms and blah 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 and all that stuff. Let Darren rule over this tiny piece of land. Let him be a warden of sorts, right? We think about like how the North was and everybody South. Like they were a separate entity. Baratheon allowed them to be their separate entity. Daemon's like, no, we're not doing that. And Corlys, I'm surprised at you because you supposed to be on our team. But he's trying to talk sense into him because it's like at the end of this, there's no winners. There's no winners in this. And I think you might want to rethink doing what you're about to do. Okay? Like, come on. Stop seeing red. Stop going for blood. And But He wants to make right on his promise to Rhaenyra, and he basically tells Gwen, like, listen, you can die here, or you can die on the other side of that wall once we come through. But we're coming through. We're coming through. And so then he decides, you know what? Corlys is now my hostage. Round up, let's go. So we cut to Harrenhal, and Aemon, he's still having his little nightmares. He wakes up, and Alice is by his side, and they have a touching moment where he realizes that she's like 150 years old, and she's not a bastard. She comes from like a reputable lineage. You know, they have their little moment, and then he wakes up again. This is like spliced, but he wakes up again to the sound of what he believes to be a dragon. So he gets up, and as someone watching this, I'm like, oh shoot, Vhagar's coming back. No. Sunfire falls through the daggone ceiling. It looked like Sunfire fell. They're really injured, right? And who's on top of Sunfire? Aegon. It's so funny to me, but it's not. And it's actually really sad, because I'm sure Aegon said, whenever I get my hands on my brother, I'm going to rip him to shreds. And so he's like, I'm alive. Hello, guess what? Hilarious delivery in that line. But in Aemon's time being at Harrenhal, I really think that he's changed. Now, mind you, last episode, the reason why, first of all, that he's laying down the way that he is and he's all, you know, jacked up is because Alicent, Mother of the Year, poisoned him. And so him being in that, you know, moment of solitude, even though he wasn't truly alone, he had time to reflect, and he spoke on it very, very calmly. And you know, like Aemon is many things, but he is a bruised, traumatized kid. And he spoke, in my opinion, very honestly to his brother. Aegon wasn't trying to hear any of that. He's like, what is this weak person before me? I was expecting something very, very different when I saw you again, if I saw you again. Okay, you're telling me that Vhagar's gone. Okay, man up. We got to get, you gonna ride on here with me. We gonna go back to, do you even know what's going on? Do you know what's going on right now? We got to get back to King's Landing. People think that I died, right? Unbeknownst to him, the people in King's Landing are now aware that he is not dead, but they're making it seem as if he is like the second coming and he was resurrected or some crazy, you know, way, you know, with the Star of the Seven in your faith. But he's telling him, like, listen, this is where I'm going to be. This is my lady who I'm betrothed to. Like, we're going to live our lives out here. He's like, no, you're not. He almost kind of threatens Alice's life, but we leave it there because we don't see them the rest of the episode. So we finally get back to Templeton, and, well, let me go back. There was a scene where, I guess, Rhaenyra's, like, handmaiden comes in, busts in Myseria's bedroom quarters with people to help her pack up her stuff. And she's basically telling her, like, Rhaenyra's kicking you out. She's giving you enough money to live comfortably away from here, you know. And this, it looks like she's honestly shocked, right? Last episode, they had a little moment. And let me just say this, because I understand that actors and actresses can sometimes have some influence on the way the story goes, but Emma Darcy is the one that inserted this whole let Rhaenyra and Mysaria have some type of romantic existence. Completely unnecessary in the storyline. Completely unnecessary. And I'm wondering if it was her idea to do the eye makeup when she goes to the sept, demanding that she be anointed and announced as the queen. Because I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all, personally. But anywho, um, so I thought that was quite interesting because Allison told her, like, you're disposable. You're disposable. And it's interesting because you look at or think about the closer she got to her, everything's about colors. The closer that she got to her, her wardrobe started to change, and the color she started to change. When she was booted out of the palace, she went right back to that color that she wears, that pretty blue, you know. And, Allison told her, you are disposable, my friend, and you are blindly being, allegiant to her and faithful and all that stuff, but trust and believe your days are numbered. And I think the reason that she cut her loose without even saying a word is because she's about to be something terrible. Rhaenyra, that is. And Mysteria, in my personal opinion, was her moral compass. And she's going to always go to Daemon when it comes to doing something vicious and crazy. And it's like good angel, bad angel. And what she needs to do in her mind is not something that Mysteria necessarily would be on board with. And that's why she had to go. So we also see the scene with Helena where, news has gotten back to Rhaenyra that she's not eating and she's with child. So that's not good. I can't really feel Rhaenyra out because it's like, that's your sister, but so what? But you should definitely care because that's your nephew. News now is that, she is pregnant with a boy. And she's so scared that, he would have rightful, claim to the throne. And Helena reads her for filth. This whole place is ugly. The way you're performing right now is ugly. She doesn't want to hear it. And she force feeds her. And I think that was the meanest thing she could do. Like, you force feed her. Like, she truly is a prisoner. You took her, first of all, Mother of the Year again, left her by herself to go poison her son. Helena, at one point, was able to see Jahara 1 hour a day and go outside. She's one with nature. She's a dreamer. She has to be outside. And now y'all taking that away from her. She lost her son. She's pregnant with another one, but she knows that if she has this baby, they're either going to take it from her or kill it. Like, and now my sister is treating me like this. So we go back to Templeton. Let's go back to Templeton. So Team Black approaches the Templeton walls from different areas, right? You have arrows being thrown, boulders being thrown. Looks like acid at one point was being tossed over the side. But eventually they get over the wall. Daemon is like, was taking so long because the plan was for them to enter on the south side and then open up the gates and they storm through. His impatient behind is like, yeah, no. Caraxes, let's go. So he busts through the door and they finally get through. And they are just running amok, fighting high towers and winter wolves. And I mean, Daemon doesn't have anybody because all the yellow cloaks either died or they quit. So, he has people that he has alliances with fighting with him. And he meets his match, I tell you, because if it wasn't for all finally getting on his dragon, which, let me just say, when Ormond found him on the commode, drunk with his pants down, taking a smash, he pulls him out the stall and does the exact same thing that Daemon does. And in that moment, something in him switched. He said, you know what? The hell with you. And Daemon, the hell with you. Y'all both here. Everybody's getting it.